My name's Xiomara Disa. I'm a teacher here at Miami Southridge Senior High School. I'm lucky enough to teach 10th grade English, AP Seminar, and AP Research, which is...
Fantastic. When we tell you how we're going to help you, it's in your self-interest to do it. That's why it's a rhetorical choice. Who's up there?
And then my oldest niece was having a lot of issues. She's a severe asthma, so she had to go to specialists, which was costing her parents a lot of money. So I made the decision to move from Phoenix, Arizona to Miami to assist them. Why don't I try teaching high school? I was like, okay, how hard can it be? So I went and did the classes at Miami-Dade to become a substitute. So I started as a substitute. And I realized very quickly that it was 1,000 times harder than I thought it would be. The fact that even if you think you know what you're doing, there is a possibility you're going to have to tweak it based off of the students in your classroom.
Okay, so I have a question. Southridge High School is high school capitalized. Why? It is part, so trophies capitalized because it's part of the proper noun, a Lombardi trophy. So those of you that know football,
Name after the first coach.
Teaching's not for the faint of heart. I've cried more in 7 years than I did in like the first 30 years of my life. And it's just because you have no idea what these kids go through. I mean, now we have, I want to say 40 to 60 kids that are classified as homeless, which means they're either in shelters or in transition housing. A lot of my students, they're first generation where their parents are not able to speak English, so they're not getting the assistance at home that I got. So the biggest challenge is realizing them coming to school is just step number one. Step number two is removing some of the obstacles they have to be successful once they get home. The biggest misconception is that we have the easiest job in the world. You know, my friends always laugh and they're like, let's be honest, you have Christmas off, you have spring break off, you have the summer off. And it's true, when you look at it, we have 180 calendar days, which is roughly 6 months. But I can promise you, in those 6 months, I work harder now than I did when I worked 365 days out of the year. But if you want to be a teacher that the kids look forward to or challenge them, you're going to spend hours outside of class grading papers, coming up with lessons, reflecting on what worked, what didn't work, coming up with ways to motivate them to want to do your work. I don't get bored because if I'm bored, my students are going to be bored. And let me be honest, there are some times where we're doing poetry and I'm at home and I'm laughing because I'm like, oh my God, this is the worst poem ever. Like, I cannot believe I have to teach this poem. So that's when I have to be the most creative because my own prejudice is against the poem. So for that not to be portrayed on my students, I have to create an activity that, you know, is engaging, is fun, it's interactive. Yeah, there have been plenty of times where I'm like, I'm done. But it's never been because of the students. Like, the students never once have gotten me to a point where I'm done. I mean, like, that was my biggest fear is, am I teaching them wrong? Am I not preparing them either for the FCAT, FSA, or to get ready for life? I just need people to understand that teaching takes it all from you. You got to leave it all on the field of competition. So yeah, it makes it worthwhile. It took me 3 years. I tell people, after 3 years, I'm like, I am an English teacher.